that has been contributed by myself and Faraz. Can you hear me now? Can everyone hear me now? All right. So Faraz here has Faraz and I have a brief demo here for you, what MapMaker is all about. So we want to map some area for you. Is there any request right now? So anyone from what city? Any city? Outside of Lahore? Any other? Which one? Arifwala. All right, we can look it up.
Nuclear assets now.
So there's Arifwala. Maybe you can help us map some of the details over here. So can you please let us know what area do you live in? Arifwala?
Hybrid करने तो जरा.
Hybrid कर.
What is hybrid?
Hybrid is just like you can see actually the satellite images, and then on top of that you can view the map layer. So you can actually. Hybrid view is actually the combination of satellite images and the map layer on top of it. So you can actually view the satellite image and then the street on top of it, and you can name it and the other things. I think this.
You have to pan back.
So that is one of the tricky things about using MapMaker and mapping trying to map the city. What a lot of users have been doing is that there is a facility within MapMaker called overlays. So what you do is you take a simple map, maybe scanned. It should not be copyrighted. You should not be scanning copyrighted maps. You take a map, or maybe if you have a GPS logger and you have a trail of the points that you visited, you can simply overlay them, because I'm sure you all would be aware that Google Earth is the satellite imagery provider for this tool. So sometimes in some regions which are probably smaller rural areas, they do not have imagery which is very high resolution. So what happens is that the error that you saw, that no imagery, no high resolution imagery is available in this region. So that is something that we encounter repeatedly. So the fact that you saw Arifwala map to some detail and extent has been made possible by the fact that some of the users, like Faraz himself and others, they've used GPS loggers, or maybe they work with some older maps that were available to them, they scanned them, uploaded them. Many times you find certain maps available online as well with property agents, real estate agents, and they are usually copyright free. You can use them as overlays and you draw the maps. So for Arifwala, as you just saw, you could see some streets drawn over there, you could see some of the major highways passing through the area or around the area. That's how those highways became possible. Given that this becomes functional again, we would like you to assist us in mapping maybe your locality, whatever region, mohalla you live in.
The biggest food stores of Pakistan are there in Arifwala.
Are in?
The biggest feed stores
Okay.
are there in Arifwala.
Okay.
I must want.
पार्कों के गोदाम ऑलरेडी मैप है उसमें.
इन्होंने ही किया होगा. So what we have arranged as well is a lab session for people who are experienced with mapping and for people who would like to know how to map and are absolutely novice in terms of mapping. We have a lab session for that, and we will take you step by step through the process of how to map, how to moderate, how to make sure that the quality of data that is entered is up to the mark. Due to these issues that we're having right now, we'll end the demo right now. Please go ahead.
I have a question. If suppose you want to map something and it's already been mapped,
Okay.
then what? What else can we do on MapMaker? Which if we have things which are already mapped, what else can we do on it?
Maybe you can just add more details, like if you have a business, okay, you can mark the opening and closing time of it, telephone number for it, and maybe a logo of that business in it. So you can just go more and more details. Like when we live in UK, and we can use the local business maps there, and we search for businesses, and like we want to search for a fast food restaurant or something. You can just search fast food within a 5-kilometer range where we are searching like our location.
But what if we want to correct some road, or if there is a road map on a Google map and it actually does not exist on that locality? What if we want to correct that?
Right. The good thing about MapMaker is that think of it as Wikipedia for maps. what you can do is, and that was the idea behind, as the brother explained earlier on as well, that this is a community-driven collaborative mapping effort. So either it's Faraz, either it's myself or any other mapper. You can simply log on to the MapMaker site and you can make the edit. So what happens now is that if say you are a new user and you made an edit thinking that this is a road which is drawn wrongly and you give your reasons, you can simply delete that road and recreate it. Some other user from your area might come around, for example person C who lives in 10 kilometers away from you. He notices that you've redrawn a road and he approves of it, that he thinks that yeah, this is the correct road. He'll simply say approve and your feature will get published to the maps. That's it. So this is a kind of a community-driven peer review. If you're familiar with the academic term, that's what you do. So that is the process which we call moderation.
Last stage will be visible to all once it is approved by any one single user.
That depends. For example, if you edit a city, city is like it's a serious issue. City is a big issue. It affects a lot of users. So what will happen is that even if an experienced mapper like myself or Faraz makes an edit to a city like Lahore or any other city, any polygon or any category which is marked as a city or certain other categories, it will go into moderation. So maybe Badr, if he's sitting on his PC, he'll have to log in and he'll say, okay, he named Lahore, he changed the spellings and he changed the population of Lahore. I think that is correct. He'll simply say moderate. What might happen is that it might get approved immediately, or what can happen is that maybe the algorithm behind MapMaker doesn't trust just one person. It wants a collective opinion from maybe 20 people. So it will be remoderated 20 times, and once that is done, and if there is say a 60% approval rate on that moderation, that feature will get published.
But there are certain approval levels for different changes.
So that is automatically built into the system. Even if it's Faraz with the highest number of edits, he cannot dupe the system. So if he makes some changes and system thinks that these are very vital changes, then he will also require approval. And so will a user who has maybe only 2 edits. So a lot of you, I'm sure, if you haven't mapped before, when you draw your first road, it will go into moderation. If I draw a road, it will not get into moderation because I have gained that level of trust with the system. So the more you map and the more approvals you have, you are a trusted mapper that way. We'll get into more details of that as we start the lab sessions.
See, that's the one. That's the Parko Gadam the guy was talking about in Arfala. It's just there.
Show the map, you will show the name.
So it's not named, but it's physically there.
So can you help us name this place?
Sorry, I
I know because of the location and my experience, it's Parko that manages Gudam in Pakistan. It must be a Parko Gudam there.
Any other region? Alright, so we're done with Arifala, I guess then.
Yes, one.
Please go ahead.
I think it's a very old area which is not yet updated. It's Tharab Dam near the Balkasar bypass on the motorway, and it still shows that there is no lake.
Okay. Can you please spell it out for me?
I think that's the earth issue, not the maps issue.
Tharab Dam, D-H-A-R-A-B.
It's on the Dahrab River, right?
Yes. And it's on Balkasar interchange motorway.
Alright, so I guess that area is not mapped.
आपने spelling है वो पहला A निकाला DHA
Still not.
नहीं DHA आ रही है
It's just north of Color Kahar.
Right, so this guy has mapped Color Kahar, so it's close to that, so we'll directly go to that.
Actually, there are some issues with Google Earth because Google Earth acquire images from the third party, and it's time to time they just keep updating these images, okay? And it's not all the time up to date.
So it's strange because that dam is in existence for the last 3 or 4 years, but still it shows.
So as I explained earlier, some of the regions which usually are not urban populated. So what you have is you have a very low resolution imagery. So maybe you have a 50 meter to a pixel kind of an imagery available for those regions. What happens is that that level of detail gets washed out. But recently we've seen that the imagery updates are coming faster and faster. So I've noticed a lot of small features suddenly becoming visible on the maps. So in places there was maybe a gaon which was just a splotch. You couldn't really make out the details or the galia or the pond. But with the new imagery which came in, I think, a month ago, those details become visible.
Come in north of the highway.
North of the
highway to Chakwan, toward Chakwan.
Yes. Then continue on the highway and then it will the next interchange after that. Yeah.
You just Talagang interchange.
Yes. Lake. I think it's very old map. That's why the lake is
Is this the lake to the right? This one?
that one.
So we can name it for you right now.
This is the Drab Dam and the lake.
Let's do it for So is this the dam?